everybody, it's Ashton here with a few asana tips. We're going to go over 7 things you can do to help improve your arm balances, specifically your bakasana or crow pose. You're going to want a couple things for today's practice though. You're going to want a block or something like that, something a good relative thickness that you can bring between your legs and squeeze. You're also going to want a blanket of some sort. You could also use any type of clothing, a towel, but you'll also want a smooth surface of some sort. So doing this, some of it we'll do on our yoga mats, but we want a smooth surface on the floor. So if you typically practice on a rug or something like that, you'll want to find anywhere where you've got this wood flooring or tile flooring, or this is, the fake wood stuff, whatever you got, something that's smooth that will allow this to slide. So if you want, pause the video, go grab those things, or perhaps bring yourself into a room where you've got a nice smooth surface on the floor, and then hit start again once you've found those things. If you're still here or you're here now, I'm going to assume you have those things with you and we can begin. So specifically, we're looking at bakasana, right? This arm balance in yoga that we see often, and going to find some things that we can do to help strengthen our arm balance or get us there if we've never been there before. So first thing we really want to do, as we often do, is just warm up the pelvis and spine. A lot of this is connecting with our core strength and connecting with our shoulder strength, which we'll explore, but start off with your basic cat-cow. So this is the most simple thing we can do. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Inhale, pull your inner thighs back. So you're really working from the pelvis because we want to check in with all these muscles that help to stabilize or move the pelvis. Inhale, send your inner thighs back, lift your sit bones up, and then pull the heels of your hands back, your shoulder blades on your back, and your heart forward. Exhale, push into your arms, draw your tailbone down, arch your back, draw your chin in. Inhale, sit bones up and back, pull your heart forward, gaze up. So we're not just moving the spine, but actually really working to get a sense of what the arms are doing and the pelvis is doing through these movements, because that will all come into play in our arm balance. Next pose to do, or practice to do, so you can sit on your shins. You can also do this sitting cross-legged, but I encourage you to sit on your shins for this one because it'll make a few things a little easier. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. If sitting on your shins like this hurts your knees or your ankles, feel free to utilize your block already by bringing it between your legs and sitting down. But otherwise, see if you can create a nice neutral pelvis to your spine, and then bring your arms out in front of you parallel to the floor. Whoop. Extend your wrists so your fingers push up or point up. Lightly tone your belly. Plug your arm bones back into the socket. So as you feel the arm bones push back in, draw your shoulder blades a little closer together and down on your back. Exhale, push forward with your hands. You'll feel the shoulder blades slide wide on your back, but you want to avoid rounding your back to get here. So the key is, inhale, plug the arm bones in without moving the spine. So here we're really stabilizing the trunk. Exhale, push your arms away. So you're feeling your shoulder blades move on your back as you go forward and back, rather than really dumping it into the spine like a cat-cow. So this isn't like the cat-cow, but rather movement of your scapula. The temptation here in a moment will be to bend your arms as well. Keep your arms as straight as they can go as you try that a few times back and forth. It's okay if it feels a little sticky and weird at first. If you're not used to getting a lot of scapular movement, this might feel a little strange and you might be moving the body. That's fine, just keep practicing. Because next, we're gonna try this down on the floor. Now, come back to your all fours position, but unlike our cat-cow, where the knees are under the hips, walk your knees a few inches behind your hips so you've got a little more room. Hands underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, and firm up your belly so that we avoid dumping into the low back, and instead we can keep the trunk really strong. Inhale, plug your arm bones into the sockets, let your shoulder blades draw together on your back. Exhale, push the floor away. Feel your shoulder blades go wide on the back. Do that a few times. Inhale, pull the heart through. Exhale, push the floor away. Now the temptation here, again, I said, is to dump into the low back or perhaps to bend your arms. Keep your arms straight. Let this be a scapular motion. If this still feels too strange, go back to trying this without the weight of your body. If you feel like, this feels great and I'd actually like to make it a little more challenging, then go ahead and tuck your toes, bring your knees away from the floor, and you can do this same motion again, but now with a little more added body weight. Once you've done that, just to get a little bit more sensation for the shoulder blades, come back to your all fours position. Inhale, one arm wide, and exhale, thread the arm underneath. Bring the back of your right arm down to the floor. Push your right arm gently into the mat so you feel the shoulder blade and arm light up. Breathe between your shoulder blades. And you can be here for perhaps 3 to 5 breaths, depending on what feels right for you. Make sure you switch to the other side. Inhale your left arm wide. Exhale, thread it underneath. Push into your arm, both with your right hand and the back of your left arm. Nice deep breaths here. All right, come back up. It's the basic warm-up for where we're going. We're going to start to up the ante a little bit. For our next shape, we're actually transitioning between two familiar yoga shapes, which is downward dog and high plank. So as you come into downward dog, you're going to shift forward to high plank, push the floor away so you feel your shoulder blades wide on the back. Again, notice if you're collapsing in your low back, so firm up through the belly so you're nice and strong. Exhale, press the floor away, send your heart back and your hips back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, press it back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, press it back. Do that a few times back and forth. We're working not only on shoulder strength, but also core stability. So it's a great practice just to get this motion as you're pushing and pulling from the heels of your hands while remaining stable in your shoulder blades. Now for the next technique, we're going to emphasize the core a little more. What you're going to do for this is take a hold of your block, or it can really be anything. I like something as stiff as a block, but you could use a pillow. You could use anything that allows you to be about hip width distance apart with your legs, but that doesn't need to be either. And for this, we're just going to utilize the block to get that extra squeezing action to help stabilize the legs and core by activating your adductors. So bring your arms by your sides, hug everything in towards the midline, and then inhale, lower and hover. See if you can bring your shoulder blades and heels an inch or two from the floor. Keep your throat open so your gaze is up. Squeeze in towards the midline and exhale, sit up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keep plugging the arm bones in so you can help to keep your spine as neutral as you can. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keep this going for 10 repetitions, 20 repetitions. Continue to slowly build up that number to build more strength. All right. Now for the blanket. Utilize your mat here. You can fold up your mat, fold it up again. And maybe that's enough, or maybe you need to fold it up one more time. You're gonna take your blanket, fold it up a few times, or again, sweater, whatever it is, just so it's wide enough to hold your feet, and place your feet at the back of where your blanket is. Step onto your blanket with both of your feet, and bring your hands down to the floor, or down to your mat. So again, if you feel like, oh, you got tight hamstrings, you can prop up the hands a little higher if you like, or simply bend your knees more. You want to make sure though that your hands are firmly planted into whatever you're pushing on. Inhale, slide your feet back. Exhale, slide your feet forward. As you're pulling your feet forward, pull back through the heels of your hands. Inhale, slide the feet back. Exhale, pull from the heels of your hands, pull forward from the toes. Inhale, slide it back. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale it back. Exhale it forward. There's a few ways that we can play with this technique to make it more challenging. You can stay here if this is plenty already. If you want to make it more challenging, as you come back, lower down. You can even add an up dog and flip over the tops of your feet. And from here, pull from the heels of your hands as you pull the tops of your feet forward and flip over the toes to bring it back. So that's going to look like this. Lower down, you add the extra chaturanga, maybe an up dog, and then slide it forward, flip the feet. Getting a lot of that pull through the core and activation through the arms and the shoulders. All of this leading to Bakasana, crow pose, or Kakasana, crane pose. The difference is, Bakasana, you have the arms bent. You can find a little more stability from the biceps. Where Kakasana, arms are straight, you need a lot more of the stability from the shoulder or the muscles around the shoulder blade itself. So Bakasana, hands shoulder width distance apart. Hug your forearms in like you were squeezing a block between your elbows. Bring the fronts of your knees to the backs of your arms. Squeeze your inner thighs like you were squeezing a block. And then shift your weight forward. Try picking up one foot or both your feet. Continue to breathe. Next option, of course, is Kakasana. Arms straight, same thing. Fronts of the knees to the upper arms as high as you can go. Shift your weight forward. Try picking up one foot or both feet. You're gonna hug your shoulder blades onto your back for stability. Push the floor away and continue to breathe. All right, that's it. A few simple techniques you can do to help strengthen your Bakasana or Kakasana, these familiar and popular arm balances in our yoga asana practice. Hope you've enjoyed. Please remember to like the video or subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for joining us. Anugrah Hitosmi.